As a trained pediatrician, I was working in pediatric emergency medicine for many years. I became a mom, and it became very difficult to be superwoman and do both things really well. And so I had switched to working graveyard shift exclusively, and I found that to be very difficult. So I took some time off from work. And during that time, a friend of mine was ill and asked me about medical cannabis, and I didn't know anything. So I decided to do some research for my friend, and I could not believe what I was reading in the scientific literature. Blew me away. And so when I decided to go back to medicine, I decided to go back to start up a medical practice in this field of medical cannabis instead of the ER. I've been doing this now for 11 years, and because of my pediatric background, I take care mostly of children now. Children suffering with epilepsy, autism, cancer, ADHD, all kinds of really challenging medical conditions. And it's been incredibly rewarding because we're seeing some wonderful results. I think when you have a sick child, anything safe should be on the table. Parents should have options. We have to remember that these are developing humans. Their brain is going through a huge change from birth until adulthood. And many of the pharmaceuticals that are being used for cancer, for epilepsy, even for autism, can be very damaging and can have a lot of side effects. In fact, the vast majority of patients that end up in my office are patients seeking a more natural, non-toxic, no side effect approach. And it's not to say that cannabis doesn't have potential for side effects, but under medical supervision in children, what I have found is it's very safe. We can minimize and mitigate side effects by changing dosing, changing timing of dosing, changing the different phytocannabinoids that we use. Lots of different things that we can do to mitigate side effects. When I have successfully treated a patient, I will share with you that the parents will tell you there are no side effects. And what we are seeing is improvement in our child's quality of life. And also what we're seeing is our child's cognitive function moving forward. I think a lot of people think that, we all have that idea of someone who's a stoner and so on. This is worlds away from the medical use of cannabis and what I'm doing with my pediatric patients. So the discovery of the endocannabinoid system in the late 1980s, early 1990s opened up a huge area of interest, and it's a target for treatment. The endocannabinoid system exists to help us maintain balance of the internal environment despite external stressors. And so by manipulating the endocannabinoid system using phytocannabinoids, compounds from the plant that mimic endocannabinoid compounds, what we're finding is that we can take patients who are not in a homeostatic place or not in balance and get them back into balance. So I'm grateful for the cannabis plant in the multitude of ways that its compounds can change the quality of life for people who are struggling and suffering with medical conditions.